Good morning. On behalf of the Rescuing Our Communities initiative to empower and educate and fight the corruption within local family courts, I am Clayton here with another educated broadcast into the evils of the family court system, particularly Brooklyn, New York today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a long fight when you are fighting against injustice and corruption within the family court system or within the system at all. Um, as private citizens, we deal with this when we deal with corrupt prosecutors, corrupt judges, etc. It's just something that we cannot avoid. So today I'm going to discuss how the Brooklyn Family Court's corruption, which is historic, has again violated my civil rights by empowering a pathological, jealous liar to lie on me again. So, people, as I have told my audience in many previous broadcasts, I have filed civil action against the Brooklyn Family Court in the Eastern District of New York. I've sued the Brooklyn County Court for, I believe, about $10 million for several procedural due process violations that have happened to me over the last 3 years that I've been subjected to litigation by the mother of my child, who is a proven liar and confessed to the lies that she's committed on audio and in an affidavit. Now, people, I want to say since March of this year, definitely since March of this year, I have lobbied before the Brooklyn Family Court to have a fact finding hearing about the lies that my child's mother was told. Because, people, the thing about someone who is willing to lie on you and use vexatious litigation, if you ignore it and let it go away, that's the stupidest thing you can do. Because someone who lies on you to the police once will most certainly do it again. And, people, I've known this. So I was intelligent enough to document on the record during every court session the civil violations to my freedom, to my free speech, and to my due process that have been committed not only by the court but the mother of my child. And, people, the court has done everything it can to deny me the right to this hearing because the truth is, if they grant me this hearing and this hearing is proved correctly, it further implicates them on misconduct and civil rights violations. So the judge has done everything in her power to deny me the access to have this hearing, and instead she kept scheduling settlement conferences trying to force me to settle because they knew I could prove my child's mother was lying. People, I got served with an order of protection yesterday, people, and I wasn't shocked, I'll be honest. But when I really looked into it, people, I started to look at the allegations and I became disgusted by how how corrupt the Brooklyn Family Court is. Now, people, orders of protection, like I have told you, are sworn statements that are issued by people. But in order for an order of protection to be issued, it has to allege a family offense pursuant to the New York State Family Court Act. It has to be any of a set of listed offenses that the state and the courts have already constituted to be family offenses against a person that you have an intimate partner or close connection with. It can't be a random stranger. It has to be someone you have a child with, that you're related to, that you dated, that you're married to, etc. I get served with this sort of protection yesterday, people, and I found it to be the funniest thing yesterday. So, like I've told my audience, I have petitioned the Brooklyn Family Court because I'm tired. I have a child's mother who is a disgusting, low level, broke, lying prostitute. And because of this, she feels that she was going to be able to use this child as her bread and butter to take care of herself. But she was wrong, people, because the New York State Family Court Act and federal family law says I only have to take care of a child. I don't have to take care of you. So, people, I would not do this. Because I wouldn't do this, because I wouldn't be back in a relationship with this woman, because I wouldn't entertain the possibility of kindling anything with her. I have been denied the access to my child, which is being protected by the court. Now, mind you, I've done nothing. I haven't assaulted my child. I haven't put my child in danger. She actually testified on the record, the last court setting, that I have been excellent with the child. So there is no reason for the court to bar me from my child unless she lies and says I committed a family offense. So, people, what does she do? I can prove that she's an online prostitute who's been lying to the court for years. People, I have years worth of advertisements, recent advertisements for this woman. So she's not even going to be able to lie and say they're old because they're recent. They're from this year. So when I notify ACS, because I did file an ACS case against her because she's negligent and I can prove it. I have information from the school where the child's being suspended. I have proof from other people that she doesn't wash the hair. I have statements from her personal friends of how she was poorly taking care of the child. People, I didn't file a baseless ACS case against her. My child was autistic. This woman is a negligent drug addict and a drunk. And, people, something needs to be done for the best interest of the child. People, now this woman is afraid. Her and her racist white attorney, and of course, that's it, people. The greatest, like I said, the greatest enemy to black men are black women. But the racism and the racist in law enforcement help these women and use them like chess pieces in order to do things to black men and minority men overall. So my child's mother naturally has this rather fat older white attorney by the name of, I forgot his name. I think his name is Elliot Green. But in any event, this gentleman hates my guts. He's actually admitted on the record in the court that he's prejudiced against me. Which, thank God, I have the transcript, people, because all this is doing is making this federal civil action I have against the Brooklyn Family Court even better. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to show you this order of protection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my federal civil action against the Brooklyn Family Court. So, like I've told you, I have sued the Brooklyn Family Court for millions of dollars, and here it is. The first thing I did was file what's called a notice of claim with the city of New York of my intent to sue the Brooklyn Family Court for valid civil rights violations committed against me. Now, unfortunately, I had to do this because of all the things that was going on against me that were where they were honestly denying me the right to see my child when I had done nothing wrong. The allegation wasn't even against me. So I accused the Brooklyn Family Court of procedural due process violations, discrimination, violations to my Fourth Amendment protections against illegal search and seizures because my child's mother used the order of protection to lie and have me falsely arrested. And I've also sued them for conspiracy to deprive me of my civil rights. Because by empowering this lying woman, who I can prove has lied to the court and refusing to hold her accountable for her lies, you are empowering her with the ability to continue to have me falsely arrested, which makes you liable for a conspiracy to deprive me of my civil rights. Thank God, people, I have a brain and I've done enough research into this to know I'm right about this. And people, I've found dozens of cases where men and people have successfully sued the court overall for actions just like this. So, people, months ago, I want to say, I can't even, I don't even have my notice of claim in front of me. I thought I actually did, where they sent me the approval and the claim number, but this is just the filed claim itself that I sent. I actually have a documented claim and a claim number with the city of New York, so it's already been filed. So now the family court is aware of this, people. They need to do something to me. So what do they do to me? And I want to actually go through this document real quick to show people there is no crime in you posting the court documents you create to your own social media channel, people. But this is part of my alleged court violation that I'm posting the court documents that I have created to sue the court to social media. And people, there is no statute, there is no rule of federal court. There is no rule of New York state laws that says I cannot post my own legal documents online unless they're under seal of the court. That's the only way. And people, nothing I have posted is under seal of the Brooklyn Family Court. So I'm legally not breaking any laws if I show you anything from my family court trial. But when you're dealing with people who are so corrupt and unjust that they need to create anything, this is what they do. So as you can see, I have a statement of facts in here, different things that have happened. This is my court. This is my notice of claim filed against the city, and I've already shown you the civil action filed against the Brooklyn Family Court. So I'm suing them for judicial oversight, investigation and fact finding failure procedures, handling of false allegation, representation and advocacy failures. Let's keep going. And systematic bias and discrimination. These are the things that I am suing the Brooklyn Camp Family Court for. All valid allegations, all provable through my text message, order of the courts, and transcripts. So now let's move to the next thing. Now, before you is an order of protection filed against me by the lying mother of my child. She has alleged the following. She has said that on April 2nd of 2005, now people, here's the interesting part, and I'm going to show you. On April 2nd of 2005, none of this happened. She completely lied through her teeth, people. And the court knows she's lied on me already. But they have to empower this woman because the thing about the family court is they need to keep false litigation going. This is why they all get paid, people, because they allow people to come in and lie through their teeth with no probable cause and grant them order of protection that grant these people who are already jealous and lying the ability to deprive you of your freedom. People, I am so excited that this lying piece of shit did this to me, people, because the second I get arrested, I already have multiple lawsuits against the NYPD in the court. There's just going to be another one. So what I'm going to do today for my audience is I'm going to walk you through what a family offense actually is and what is not. Let me add another scene to this. We won't add another camera scene. We're going to add a scene really quick, my beautiful audience. We're going to take you guys to Claude AI. Bop. Now we're going to go back to where we were. There you go. There we go here. Yeah. So, people, today I'm going to walk you through how these judges will allow allegations that don't even substantiate a domestic violence offense to support an order of protection just to grant orders of protection that are completely meritless in basis. Now, orders of protection are supposed to be granted on the scale of a need of danger. This is a no contact order of protection. Now, people, I've never done anything to this woman, and I know for a fact that she can't justify any of these allegations with hard evidence, which I'm going to show you. But that didn't matter, people. Because I sued this judge in federal court, this judge has granted another illegal order of protection against me for allegations that are 100% not provable. And I know this because I have all the discovery. Nothing here substantiates a domestic violence offense. Only one thing, if it can be proven, and it can't be proven because there's no evidence to support it. But I'm going to read it to my audience because I would really like the people to see exactly what the full level of corruption of the Brooklyn family court is. And this is what they actually do to people. So now you see the first thing up there says cursing and using vile language. And I want to take you to another screen where I have taken the liberty to ask my legal AI if cursing and using vile language would constitute a domestic violence offense or violate the New York Family Court Act in any way. So the question I asked Claude AI is, does cursing or use of vile language violate the New York State Family Court Act, or is it a domestic violence offense if not directed at the party? This is what Claude AI tells us. Cursing and using vile language generally does not violate the New York State Family Court requirements or constitute a domestic violence offense on its own, particularly if not directed at the other party. However, there are some important nuances to consider. For family court proceeding, cursing is typically not a legal violation by itself. The court does expect civil and respectful behavior in the court, people, not outside the court. You can do whatever you want outside the court. The judge may issue warnings or sanctions for disruptive language in the court. In the court, people, not outside the court, in the street, in a private conversation. Persistent inappropriate language could potentially affect credibility or how the judge views your case. Now, people, if you're cursing in the court, fine. But in a private conversation outside where you're just cursing in general, that does not violate the New York State Family Court Act. And it's not a domestic violence offense. But I want to keep going because I need to break this down to my audience before I continue to show you the true corruption of the Brooklyn Family Court. Regarding domestic violence, cursing alone, especially when not directed at someone, typically does not constitute a domestic violence offense. However, as cursing is a part of a pattern of verbal abuse, intimidation, harassment, threats, or emotional abuse, then it could potentially be considered as domestic violence or harassment depending on the context, the severity, the pattern, and the intent. So, people, if you're cursing in general, but you're not being verbally abusive by calling someone hypothetically a stupid bitch, an ignorant bitch, a dirty da 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 da. You're not doing it. If you're not trying to intimidate with this person, let's just say you're having a conversation where you're like, man, this other person's a fucking idiot. That has nothing to do with the person you're talking about. You're talking about another person being a fucking idiot. Let's just say if you're calling them, cursing them out, harassing them, which means you have to keep contacting them, cursing at them. If they have no contact, you cursing at them and contacting them, people, you cursing in general in a regular one conversation does not constitute harassment. Let's say you're threatening, I'm gonna fuck you up, I'm gonna beat your ass, you piece of that. That's threats. If you're doing that and they can prove it, sure, it constitutes domestic violence. And emotional abuse, like if you're putting them down, calling them an ugly piece of shit, all of that could be, depending on the context, the severity, the pattern, and the intent, considered domestic violence. But if there's no evidence you've done that at the time of an order of protection, there should not be an order of protection granted against you. For language, for a language incident to rise to the level of domestic violence in New York, it generally needs to involve threats, intimidation, or be part of a larger pattern of abusive behavior that causes fear or emotional distress. Now, see, if you're involved in a specific situation, da 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 da. So, people, the thing that I'm going to tell you about that is that cursing alone does not constitute a domestic violence offense. You can curse as much as you want in a conversation. It does not constitute a domestic violence offense or a violation to the New York State Family Court Act. But because these judges and these family court lawyers are so corrupt, what they've been able to do with less intelligent litigants is use your general language to back up, support temporary orders of protection. Now, when you're dealing with a jealous or bitter partner who has decided their only true power to hurt you is the use of the court system and law enforcement, they have just given one of your most dangerous enemies the tools to violate your freedom and deprive you of your access, your right to be a free citizen and free of illegal search and seizure. This happens every day in the family court of New York. And because litigants don't understand their rights and how to enforce them, the family court gets away with this hundreds, if not thousands, of times a week in any state in any state of this country. They violate the procedural due process rights of thousands of people every day in the family courts of the state of whatever you call it because they're so unregulated. They're allowed to do stuff like this, and this is wrong. If you can't prove that someone has threatened you physically, has cursed you out physically, it doesn't constitute domestic violence. But judges are allowing women, especially, to use just general language to get orders of protection against people, which they later dismiss on trial because the truth of the matter is that cursing does not constitute a domestic violence offense, and you can't convict someone for violating any state's domestic violence act for general profanity in their regular language. It's impossible. There's a million cases that prove it. But just to put temporary orders of protection on men, especially men, judges will allow this so a woman can impose a false arrest on you. People thank God I have already sued this court because I'm waiting for it to come, people. I have so much stuff in place ready for this woman that can totally verify the innocence of any allegation she puts on me. People are waiting for this crusty piece of shit woman to lie on me because all she's going to do is increase the check against the city of New York. I'm completely prepared for this one. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the other allegations that my pathetic piece of shit child's mother filed on me. So the next three allegations involve the judge. Now, people, again, in order to have an order of protection issued against you, you have to be in an intimate relationship with someone. They have to be your intimate partner, meaning your husband or your boyfriend. You share a child with them. You're related to them, something. An order of protection cannot be issued against you in the family court if there is no direct relationship between yourself and the person. So now, people, the judge in my family court thing is reasonably attractive. And I told my child's mother this. I said, yo, the packing judge, the judge is Pakistani. Pakistani is a hip term just to define a Pakistani person, much like people call African Americans black people, much like they call white people white boys or white girls. People, it's not racist if you're not intending it in a way. I just said the packing judge is beautiful. She has great hair. I would love to date this packing woman. She's incredibly attractive. People, this is what I said about the judge. Now, my child's mother got jealous because I thought the judge was prettier than her. So what she does is this is what she files with the judge. Respondent, the respondent is me, wants to fuck the packy judge, Manny. Going to sue the Indian racist bitch who is a piece of shit. People, I've never said that. And the douchebag packy judge. No, so these are three statements against a family court judge. Now, people, in my private life, they don't substantiate the need for an order of protection. I can say whatever I want about this woman privately in the privacy of a conversation. And she can't put an order of protection on me for that unless she's a procedurally corrupt judge. Then she's going to do whatever she wants to do because she thinks she's going to get away with it. See, the judge doesn't know that I filed that lawsuit. She hasn't been served yet. Man, wait till she gets served. She's going to fucking flip her wig to realize that she has just fed into exactly what I've already accused the court of. So, people, the next allegation, allegation five, says, I care about this child that I nutted in you for. People, again, how is that a family court allegation? I mean, violation. I'm confused. How is that a violation of the Family Court Act? How is it a violation of the New York State Family Court Act to acknowledge a woman that you had an orgasm in her and you cared about the child that you created? I'm confused. How does that substantiate a domestic violence offense or a violation to the New York State Family Court Act? So, people, now we have five allegations of this sort of protection that I have just proven do not constitute a violation of the New York State Family Court Act. That's five, people. Let's keep going. My lawyer is a racist cracker. Fuck Elliot Green, punk ass faggot lawyer, fat lawyer. People, that's a direct insult against her attorney. Insulting an attorney does not violate the New York State Family Court Act. And you know what? Let's ask Claude AI, does it? Let's ask people, because I like to be consistent in the things that I put up. So let's ask Claude AI, is that the case? And does this violate the New York State Family Court Act? So, does insulting a judge or lawyer involved in your family court case in private conversation constitute a domestic violence offense or a violation to the New York State Family Court Act? So here's the question we're asking Claude AI, my beautiful audience, and let me make sure everybody can see that. Everybody can. Great. Does insulting a judge or lawyer involved in your family court case in private conversation outside of court constitute a domestic violence offense or a violation to New York's Family Court Act? Let's ask Claude AI. Insulting a judge or lawyer involved in your family court case in private conversation outside the court generally does not constitute a domestic violence state offense under New York state law. Is not a violation of the New York State Family Court Act. For something to qualify as a domestic violence offense, it typically needs to be directed at a family member or household member. Examples given: spouse, partner, co-parent, etc., and involve harassment, intimidation, and threats. Making negative comments about court official in private conversations with others doesn't meet that definition. But people, so far I've been through this order of protection with you that I was just served with, that was granted by the same judge that I'm suing the Brooklyn Family Court by. And let's go back to that document. And people, we're down here and we're at one, two, three, four, five, six. Six allegations so far on this order of protection do not even constitute family offenses by New York state law, by federal law. But this judge, who has already been accused of procedural due process violation and discrimination, issued this order of protection against me. People, let's go. We're at six. Let's go to seven. The AFC is not serving the child's best interest. That bitch lawyer. Who is she talking about? She's talking about the lawyer that was assigned to my child in the case, who is not serving the best interests of the child, people. She's completely biased. She's failed to order investigations that for proven negligence of the mother. All of this I can prove. But again, people, that's a comment about an outside court official, people, and we're at seven of the allegations on the family court application, people. None of these are domestic violence offenses in according with New York state law, people, and we're at seven. Let's go to number eight, people. Number eight is our daughter is partially mentally fucking retarded and mentally disabled. People, although that might sound harsh, people, it's not a violation of the Family Court Act, especially if it's true, people. My daughter is disabled. My daughter has autism, people. And although retard might not be a nice term, as long as I'm not calling her a retard, and I say this in private conversation trying to address this to someone, people, that doesn't violate the New York State Family Court Act. And you know what? Let's ask Claude AI. But we have to phrase this question correctly. So, is referring to a mentally disabled child as retarded in a private conversation discussing the child's mental needs? Well, I'm going to phrase this right, because it's always important about phrasing the question right. Spell the words right. Okay. So here's our question. Is referring to a mentally disabled child that's retarded in private conversation for purposes of simplicity while discussing the child's mental needs violate the New York State Family Court Act or constitute a domestic violence, okay, I'm fucking up, offense. It's a lot of spell checks today. Hold on, people. Let's get that question right. Because people, everything needs to be known. And what this will do for you is it'll show you when people make allegations on you, put them in a search engine and find out if they even constitute a domestic violence offense. And if they don't, people, you got a lawsuit against the family court. Because the family court can't issue orders of protection against you for allegations that don't constitute family offenses. But this is what New York State does. They give them to anybody. And they allow people to be falsely arrested, defamed, slandered, deprived of the rights of their children. People, I'm not going for it. I'm going to sue the hell out of this court and expose the corruption in this court, people. It's a constant battle, especially once you become aware of what truly the matrix is, what really goes on behind the scenes, people. There's no such thing as fairness and equality in law enforcement. People, law enforcement, the law, the judicial system, the family court system is incredibly corrupt. They do what they want to do. They don't go by the law, people. They go by their personal feelings, their ambitions, and their needs for power, people. And that's wrong. They can't continue to do things like this. So, people, is referring to a mentally disabled child as retarded in private conversation for purposes of simplicity while discussing the child's mental needs. Actually, let's put does. Does sound better. Does referring to a mentally disabled child as retarded in a private conversation for purposes of simplicity while discussing the child's mental needs violate the New York State Family Court Act or constitute a domestic violence offense if the child was not called retarded and it was in a private conversation discussing the extent of the child's mental disability. So, people, that is actually an incredibly defined question, and it's going to give us the exact answer we need. One more time. Does referring to a mentally disabled child as retarded in a private conversation for purposes of simplicity while discussing the child's mental needs violate the New York State Family Court Act or constitute a domestic violence offense if the child was not called retarded and if it was in private conversation discussing the extent of the child's mental disability? Using the term decroded to rechild the child, uh, Okay, using the term retarded to describe a child with mental disabilities in a private conversation when not directed at the child and solely for discussing their needs does not violate New York State Family Court or constitute a domestic violence offense. While this terminology is outdated and generally discouraged by in professional and medical context, replaced by terms like intellectually disabled or diagnosed with or specific diagnostic language. Using it in private conversation does not meet the legal definition of a family offense, of a domestic violence offense, which requires abusive behavior directed at the family member. Okay, it's not prohibited by Family Court Act, which does not regulate private speech outside the proceedings. So, people, we are down to 9 of the allegations on this order of protection. And people, I've literally just showed you none of them constitute a family offense by New York state law or by the Family Court Act or by federal domestic violence law. None of them. But people, there's an order of full no contact or the worst type of order of protection that can be used was listed against me. And I know why, people. It's just to effectuate a false arrest against me. Because the judge in the court is mad that I sued them, so they're going to use this woman as a pawn to effectuate my false arrest by granting an order of protection that can't be verified with any probable cause. Let's keep going. So we're going to say 9. What's 9 on this thing now? Let's go to number 9, my people. Number 9 is, oh wow, Claude didn't show. I'm sorry, people. Let's go back to Claude. So we'll go here. Forgive me. So this is Claude AI. And like I told you, here's what Claude says so my audience can see it. Does referring to a mentally disabled child as retarded in a private conversation for purposes of simplicity while discussing the child's mental needs violate the New York State Family Court Act or constitute a domestic violence offense if the child was not called retarded and if it was in private conversation discussing the extent of the child's mental disability? Using the term retarded to describe a child with a mental disability in private conversation when not directed at the child and solely for discussing the child's needs does not 1. Violate the New York State Family Court Act, 2. Constitute a domestic violence offense by New York state law. While this terminology is outdated and generally discouraged in professional and medical contexts, The term has been replaced with intellectual disability. I said a whole bunch of terms now to describe it. Use in private conversation. It does not meet the legal definition of a domestic violence offense, which requires abusive behavior directed at a family member. It is not prohibited by the Family Court Act, which does not regulate free speech. So, people, if I did have a conversation where I said, you know something, my daughter might be possibly retarded, you should pay attention to what I'm telling you, people. That doesn't constitute a family offense. But because this judge needs something to put an order against me, people, she allowed this to be listed as a family offense on this petition. Let's keep going. Let's go down to number 9. Number 9 is good. So that I want to sue for Dior and he needs my help. So now, people, let's constitute if wanting does wanting to sue the family court for 14th Amendment violations to the parental rights of a father constitute a violation to the New York State Family Court Act or a domestic violence offense. Now, we're going to make that a two-part question, people, because again, we're going to ask all of these questions because I want to walk you through to show you the sheer corruption and misconduct of the Brooklyn Family Court. But people, again, I'm on it. I've already sued them, so I'm cool with this. It's a little annoying, people, but you know something? God is good, and there's a plan for everything. These people want to be exposed for corruption and procedural and professional misconduct. So, people, why not help them? Why not provide them exactly what they want? Is the means to expose them for being corrupt. Okay, so let's go back to Claude AI audience. Pop. Okay, here we go. Yes, all right. Blow up the screen so everyone can see. Perfect. Okay, now we get back to Claude AI. Does wanting to sue the family court for for 14th Amendment violations to the parental rights of a father constitute a violation of the New York State Family Court Act or domestic violence? Is asking the mother who filed false petitions and police reports, which she confessed to on audio and in sworn affidavit, constitute harassment or a violation to New York State Family Court Act or domestic violence law. So, people, my question again, I like having my questions really tailored towards the answer that we want to give. So, if you confuse the software, it'll give you a confusing answer. So, here's our question. Does wanting to sue the family court of New York, let's keep it specific, of New York, for 14th Amendment violations to the parental rights of a father constitute a violation to New York State's Family Court Act or a domestic violence offense? And is asking the mother who filed false petitions with the court, I want to be specific, people, with the court and false police reports, let's make sure we put that, false police reports, which she confessed to on audio and in sworn affidavit, constitute harassment or a violation of the New York State Family Court Act. I'm not even going to say harassment, people, because harassment is unwanted contact. Actually, let's leave it, fuck it, because I haven't contacted. I'm not even worried about that. Let's be direct. So, your questions touch on important legal distinctions regarding constitutional rights, legal remedies, and communication. Let's make sure everyone can see this. Yes, you can. Let's get down to business, people. Your questions touch on important legal distinctions regarding constitutional rights, legal remedies, and communications regarding suing the family court for 14th Amendment violations. This does not constitute a violation of the New York State Family Court Act. This does not constitute a domestic violence offense. Parents have a constitutional right to seek legal remedies if they believe their rights have been violated. Filing a lawsuit is a protected legal action through sovereign immunity. Issues may apply. Regarding asking the mother about the false petitions. Okay, important matters. Regarding asking the mother about false petitions she admitted to. Simply asking questions about documented false statements generally would not constitute harassment or a domestic violence offense. However, the manner, context, and frequency and tone of such questioning could potentially matter. But people, again, this woman has signed a sworn affidavit and there's a recording. So, people, I'm not forcing her to do anything. She's already done it and it's documented. So, I'm not doing that. Let's keep going. Important considerations. How communication occurs. Repeated aggressive or threatening communications could potentially be crossed into harassment terror. People, I've never done that. She has no proof of that. I've actually told her that I don't need her to file this lawsuit, and I have numerous examples to prove it. Because people, I don't. She's on tape. There's a sworn affidavit. I don't need you for anything. So, a single claim inquiry would not likely constitute harassment. So, people, one text message where I say, hey, listen, are you going to help me? People, I've never even texted that. So, I'm not even worried about the fact that I've never texted this woman asking her to help me with the lawsuit because, people, I don't actually need it. I don't need her to help me with a lawsuit with the Brooklyn Family Court. They've already screwed themselves, and I'm 100% positive about that. Existing court orders are critical. If there is an existing order of protection limiting communication, any contact could violate the order. If there are specific communication restrictions in a custody visitation order, these must be followed. Now, people, as we know, there was no order of protection until yesterday. There is a joint custody agreement and a settlement agreement, but people, the court's not making her comply by it, even though legally the last time I was there, they said it was legally sufficient and we could move forward, minus a couple of alterations to the distance this woman lived, which was only a stall tactic by her attorney because her attorney wanted her to get her to file a new complaint to get this going for another 2 years. Because this is what these corrupt attorneys do. They build the family court by allowing the mothers to file false reports against the men to keep the litigation going. So, intent and context. Communications for legitimate legal purposes, like gathering at events, are generally protected. Communications intended to intimidate or disturb could be problematic. People, I've never done this, but guess what, people? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because this woman has just made basic allegations that the family court is going to allow her to make so it can falsely detain me again. People, I can't wait for these fucking idiots in this court to try me this time. I am not the same person they falsely arrested for this woman 2 years ago. I'm far more intelligent. I have much more behind me now than I did. And the Brooklyn Family Court and the NYPD has a problem with Clayton Howard and the numerous civil rights lawsuits against him that for the exact same issue. So people, they can fucking come with it. This time I'm ready. So let's keep going, people. So we've gone through 11. Let's go to 12. Nope, hold on. Let's go to 10. Calling my daughter a retard. Now, people, again, I did not call my child a retard to her face. So that does not constitute a domestic violence offense. I've never insulted my baby girl by calling her retarded or slow or anything. What I did say to her mother is that we need to acknowledge the fact that this child is mentally retarded because you don't seem to understand the full definition of autism. So I'm going to dumb it down for you because I realize you're not educated and you're kind of stupid. And I'm going to tell you that she's mentally retarded. We're going to take it to the hood term. We're going to take it to the Ebonic term. Our child is retarded. We need to do something about this. People, I'm actually going to read you the text message where I say this when I get. Matter of fact, people, I'm so rare with this shit. I'm going to read it to you right now. Let me make another screen because I really, really, really want to show my audience what I'm dealing with the disgusting creature who calls herself my child's mother. I think it's really important that people see this. So let's go to presentations. Let's go here. Let's go. Just bear with me 1 second, my beautiful audience. I'm apologizing. I can't remember what I actually did with this thing. You've got to bear with me 1 second, my great audience. I can't remember which exhibit document I put this thing under. Oh, there it is. Perfect. There it is. Text conversation. Petition. That's okay. That's number I. So people, let me just pull up a packet for you guys really quick that I think is very, very important because I actually want to show you the text message conversations with my lying ass. Like she's garbage, people. But as long as I'm aware of it, people, it can't hurt me, so I'm okay. Let's figure this out really quick, though. That's I to cover. Where's I to binder, people? Hmm, that's annoying. Okay, let's try to find this really, really quick. Forgive me, my audience. I am looking. This was all together. I do not know why I can't find it suddenly, but I'm going to find it. Just bear with me. Okay, we're looking for one document in particular, which is my exhibit I that I cannot find, unfortunately. And why I don't know, but we're going to fix it. We're going to figure it out, people. Just bear with me. Why can't I find this today? Wow, it's really annoying. Okay. All right, people. For some reason, I can't find my exhibit I, which is really annoying because I definitely had it. And I do not understand that, but you know something, people? It's whatever. Let's go back. Let's go back. PDF. Oh, great. I really hate that. Damn, people. Oh, my God. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, where did you put this? Where did you put this? Did you put it here? Bear with me, my audience. This is really annoying. How did I lose this? I just had this yesterday. I can't understand this, people. I just saved this last night, and now I can't find it. Mm. Just bear with me 1 second, audience. Come on. What the frick is this? Come on. I can't believe I can't find this I now. This is really annoying. Found it. Okay, there we go. Bear with us 1 second, people. It's coming into play now. So these are actually text message conversations with the child's mother that I want to read to you how I refer to my child as retarded. Because people, the truth is the truth. Clayton Howard is a realist. In order to deal with situations in your life where people can't use them against you to hurt you, you have to become wise enough to accept those situations for what they are. If you happen to be black and super black and people have called you for black crispy or whatever your whole life, you have to accept that, people. If you happen to be fat and people want to call you fat, although it's mean, people, you have to accept the fact that you're fat. If you're bald headed and you have no hair and people come around you as a woman and say, hey, you're bald headed as a woman, guess what? You have to accept the fact that you might not like them speaking to you like this, but you have to accept it. There's nothing people can do if you use a general term against them to, to, to classify them. Now, as far as it goes with a child, again, if I was to stand in front of my child's face and call her retarded or slow or things like that, people, that would be child abuse. That would be a domestic violence offense. That would be a violation to the New York State Family Court Act for intimidation or doing things like that. But I've never done that to my child. What I did do was have a private conversation with the mother who totally denies the child's diagnosis of autism and continues to lie to me and try to hold information again from me, which I can completely prove that this woman has done. Come on today, people. What's up? Is this document really that big? Hold on, people. For some reason, this thing is just giving me a hell of a hard time today, and it just won't load. I don't know why. It's trying to load. It's doing its best. Just give it a second. So, people, we are now on number 10, it looks like, where she says, I called her daughter a retard. So, people, I'm actually going to read this to you to show you that I never called my child a retard and exactly what I said to this woman. People, what I said to her was the truth because she refuses to accept the true diagnosis of the child. She is a horrible mother. She is horribly negligent. She has a huge drug problem. People, she's a damn prostitute, people. This is what this woman does and lies and tries to collect disability. But what she's really doing is selling vagina all day out of a Section 8 apartment she has in the Bronx. People, this is insane. But I'm the bad parent, the parent who's working, the parent who's in law school, the parent who's doing the right thing. People, I am not in the best interest of a child. But the drug addict, negligent, prostitute mother is in the best interest of the child. People, I'm completely confused how this is legal. But it's not legal, people. See, it's not really about the best interest of child in family court. It's about how the court can impose legality on the other party. Because that's the purpose of the family court. The only thing they want to do is subjugate somebody to an order because they need that order to keep feeding the broken, corrupt system that is the criminal justice system, that is the family court system, people. These orders of protection, they get hundreds, if not thousands, of people falsely arrested a day. This is why they won't arrest the false reporters because they use those false arrest statistics to substantiate their actions on crime. People, why should anyone be falsely arrested, but the person who falsely has been falsely arrested not be arrested and prosecuted? That's the thing that I'm. What is going on with this damn thing today, bro? Come on. This streaming software is getting on my nerve, people. This shouldn't take this long. This is like disgusting. Come on, uploading. Come on with this today. Come on. What is this? Oh my God, man. I'm trying to be patient, people. Patience is a virtue, but some things try you, and this is one of them clearly today. My streaming software won't upload the slideshow so I can show you the text of what I say. And I don't know why that is, people. I've really been having a problem with the streaming software, so I think it's time that I change companies. Because this is just ridiculous. It's been like 5 minutes. It still hasn't loaded it. And this document is not even long. That's what really is confusing me right now, because it's actually a really short document. It's not long at all. It should have definitely loaded by now. 1 second. Let's go to another screen. Let's try it again. It should have definitely loaded by now. I have no clue why this is still processing. None. I have absolutely no clue why this is still processing. There's no way this should still be processing. No way. It's been processing for at least 3 or 4 minutes. Like, this is insane. I think it's time to get rid of Restream. I think it is. It doesn't even look like it wants to do it. People, look at this. It's still going processing. Wow, this is insane. I've never seen my streaming software do this where it won't upload a document. Nope. Well, people, it seems like we're having technical difficulties, and Restream will not allow me to enter the document that can prove what I actually said to my child's mother. You can't make this shit up, people. You really can't. You can't make this up at all. Oh my God, there it went. It only took 5 minutes. Okay, people. So this is the document that I was speaking about. What the fuck was that about? Okay, so this is the conversation where she's claiming I called my child's mother retarded. And thank God that iPhone has this ability that allows you to document and save your call history. Because people, if I didn't have this, I'd be lying. So I'd like to read this with my audience. Hey, you know you might not want to acknowledge this, but our child is not normal. I know everyone wants to say she's special needs and she's on the spectrum, but I'm just going to be flat out and say that our child is somewhat retarded. And by saying that, although I do love her, she's my daughter, the meaning of that is what I mean. She does not sit like a normal child. She does not play like a normal child. She does not act like a normal child, even though she's a good girl. But she does not respond to the world in the same place a normal child would. Therefore, I had her in the car seat, dressed in seat and neat, but she decided to take off her shoes, throw them around the car while she was blabbering, going blah, 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 duh, while she was doing all that in the car. I'm not saying this in a bad way. And as much as you may want to try to avoid it, it's a conversation that needs to be had because because by trying to ignore that, your child has a disability. Trying to pretend that it is not as bad as it actually is not going to get you anywhere. Come on. Okay, more. There we go. I'm a little more mature than you. I'll probably a lot more, so I can accept the fact of what's really wrong with my daughter. I can be angry at the fact you denied me access to her for 3 years when I saw the signs of this 2.5 years ago, and I could want to wage war on you, but the only thing I want to do is make sure my child is okay. Now, with regard to her cup is behind me on the floor because, again, you may not want to acknowledge what your child is, but I have acknowledged with my child is, and she has a tendency to throw things around the car because she doesn't focus and it doesn't seem like she remembers the whole track of the things that too long. She probably just threw it on the floor, then forgot it was there while she threw her shoes off, her hat off, and tried to take off her coat and her shirt while I was driving her there in the car again. I'm trying to address what's wrong with our daughter, but you're too immature to do that. Instead, you try picking fights with me over stupid shit like a cup being left and things that you need to gain the maturity to have a conversation about. regard to her cup. Her cup is behind me in a long conversation about. Let me get back to it. Stupid things. You need to gain the maturity to have a conversation about your daughter's mental disability because it's not going to get any better. She's 3 years old now and it looks cute. It's not going to look cute when she's 13 years old and doing drooling and mumbling like if we don't do something now, the longer you ignore it, what's going on is it's going to get worse. So people, this is a conversation I have with this woman. Well, yes, I do refer to my child as being mentally disabled. But people at the same time, I'm telling her the truth of the situation, people, because she doesn't want to admit the truth of what the child's condition is. People, it broke my heart one day. I'm gonna tell you a personal story, and this hurts me. About a month and a half ago, I took my daughter to the local park by me, and I let her play in the park, and I bought some stuff out with the dog, and I let her play. Now, autistic children, depending on their degree of autism, live in their own world. So I bring my 3-year-old daughter to this park. And there's a bunch of kids in this park, people, and she doesn't play with any of them. She's going in the corner. She's playing by herself. She's looking up in the ceiling. She's like, la 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 la. So now a little girl saw her playing, a little Indian girl. And she looked like she was having a lot of fun. So this little Indian girl says, yo, I want to go play with this girl. She's over in the corner having mad fun. Little Indian girl runs over there trying to play with her. My daughter pushes the Indian girl and goes back to playing by herself. So now this girl's mother comes over screaming at my daughter because she just pushed her daughter. She had a right to do that too. She had a right. Her child had just been pushed. So I go, and before the woman comes and starts doing too much to scare my daughter, I said, ma'am, she's autistic. As soon as I said that, the woman says, I'm sorry. People, how do you think that made me feel as a father? Do you know how bad that hurt that somebody had to acknowledge my child's mental disability? So, people, as an adult, I tried to talk to my child's mother about this, but she's so much of a disgusting, immature child, she refuses to do it. And people, this is why I said that to her in that conversation. So now she's manipulated that in the family court to claim that I called the child retarded. This is the true corruption of the system. But people, again, as you can see, I got it. I'm going to handle it. So let's go back to this bullshit order of protection because we're running out of time. So here we go, people. Okay, so I called the child retarded. As you see, that's not a violation of the New York State Family Court Act, and it's not a domestic violence offense. And again, people, you see the context in which I used it. So I did nothing wrong. So people, we're down to 10. And so far at 10, I have not committed one family offense by New York State Family Court Act stipulations or by domestic violence law. And there's 10 accusations here. People, not one of them is credible. Not one of them is credible. Not one of them violates the New York State Family Court Act. Let's keep going. Threatening I work with him. Again, people, she would have to prove I'm threatening her by saying, you better work with me. I've never threatened her. But this is what she's alleged, people. A threat could be a family court act, but there has to be some type of evidence to support it. Constantly using profanity. People, we went to that in the first. People using profanity in your general language does not violate the New York State Family Court Act and is not a family offense unless it's directed at a person in a way that's insulting. People, I don't call this woman my baby mother. I don't call her a dumb bitch. I don't call her a hoe. People, I've never called her any of this. The only thing I've ever referred to her is what she actually is, which is a prostitute, and I can prove that by her online advertising. So although she might not like that term, she shouldn't be selling her vagina online and shouldn't have allowed her child's father to have proof that in April of this year she was doing it. That's her fault. So let's keep going, people. Constantly uses profanity. So again, people, that's not a domestic violence offense. So she says on April 1st, respondent threatened to burn down my house. Now, people, I can't wait to get in the fucking court because people, I have my phone records, I have my text message history. People, I never even spoke to her on April 1st. There's no call to her because I never called her. We didn't speak on April 1st. We spoke April 2nd, the day we went to court, and the family court was supposed to finish the joint custody order that would have ended this, but they prolonged it because I was telling them that I was having a problem with her. And they played the long game, people. They knew if they waited that something might happen to jam me back up in this process. And it did, because I wouldn't fuck my baby mother, so she lied on me to her racist attorney to get a new order of protection against me. But people, it's good, because I'm suing the hell out of the family court. So it's 100% fine. So she said, respondent constantly calls me hoe, bitch, and weird ass bitch. All names that people know text message. And people, you can see how serious I am. Look how serious I am, people. This is the entire history of the conversations between myself and my child's mother since she and I started talking. This is everything in this exhibit that I'm submitting to the court. People, in nowhere in these text messages do I ever call this woman a bitch, a hoe, or a weird ass bitch. I never say that to her. People, never do I call this woman. The only thing I have said is that she does dumb stuff. That's it. But I've never called her out of her name. It's because she needs to allege that I've done something, she lies to her teeth. So she's going to have to prove that. So far, people, although there's no probable cause to support I've done any of this, she has only out of 12 offenses on an order of protection. So far, only two of them could possibly be domestic violence offenses. And again, people, she has to have text messages or recordings to prove them. A general allegation uh, um, with previous false allegations against me should not substantiate a full no contact order of protection. But this judge wants me to be arrested. So this judge issued this no contact order of protection, praying that the mother can use it to have me arrested. And I'm going to sue the living shit out of this disgusting piece of shit judge. And yes, take this to the judge if you're watching, Demonic. She's a disgusting piece of shit. She's unethical. And I'm going to sue the living shit. I've already have. And all I'm going to do is add this to that lawsuit and insure my check, which your bum ass will never get any of. Let's keep going, people. This is the true nature of disgusting, jealous ass women, people, but it's all good. So now we go to page 3, people. The respondent states, I wish that he wishes I died. Now, people, wishing somebody dies in general conversation again doesn't violate the content. And I've never said this to this woman, but people, again, because I realize what I'm going through, people, I'm going to sit here and we're going to go back to Claude AI and we're going to ask Claude AI the question. Does wishing someone die but not acting on killing them in any way constitute a domestic violence offense or a violation to the New York State Family Court Act? So here's our last question, people. Does wishing someone die but not acting on it, but not acting on killing them in any way constitute a domestic violence offense or a violation of the New York of the State Family Court Act? Even though I never did, people. I've never wished this woman dead. Never. So let's go and let's see what Claude AI has told us, people. So here's Claude AI, and I want my audience to see the last bullshit allegation of this woman. Expressing a wish that someone would die without any action or direct threat towards the person generally does not constitute a domestic violence offense on its own under New York state law. It's not specifically a violation of the New York State Family Court Act. If such statements are made directly to a person, made repeatedly, part of a pattern of abundant abuse, made in a threatening manner, or made in the front of the children involved in the case, then it could potentially be a domestic violence act. People, I have never said this to this woman. We have no contact with each other where I do not record every second we are around each other. So, people, again, 3 out of 13 allegations could possibly be a domestic violence offense if she could prove that I even said these things. Now, people, here's the thing. I never said it. Now, people, here is the worst allegation on this thing. I actually met my child's mother in 2020. I met her exactly 1 week after I had surgery on my left Achilles tendon. And people, I can 100% prove this because I have the messages, people. I have where I was after my surgery, people. I have the date of my surgery. So I can prove for it beyond a fact, beyond a doubt, audience, I can prove that I met my child's mother in July of 2020. So in this last allegation, she says that in 2018, I gave her a drink, people. She's saying I slipped her a Mickey, got her naked, and had sex with her, people. So she's accused me of drugging her and had sex with her 2 years before I even met her. I can't wait to go to court with this scumbag lying woman. Now, I'm going to disprove every allegation on this. Because every allegation on this is a lie filed by the woman who has been using vexatious litigation against me for years because she's mad I want nothing to do with her. Now, people, she's mad I want nothing to do with the child. That's what this is all about, people. All of this is about because I want nothing to do with my child because this woman, her scumbag mother who is doing this to me, is trying to destroy my life because I don't want anything to do with her. So, people, I'm a wise enough man to realize, you know something? I am no benefit to my child in jail or financially weak because her mother's trying to destroy me with false allegations because I want nothing to do with her. So, people, yes, I petitioned the court to sign off my parental rights and I requested an order of protection that would keep this woman away from me. Yes, I did, people, because I'm tired, people. I want nothing to do with this woman. But see, people, I've realized something. I realized that I have a weapon against this woman that I could not use, that I didn't use actually. You see, she's manipulating the family court of New York in Brooklyn, right? But people, I can go and use a just course process and I know exactly what to do. So I'm going to start my own legality and I'm going to prove to this woman in the court where I know I'm going to get a fair shake that she's violating the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. And people, I've taken measures to do that yesterday. Since she wants to go and she wants to keep filing false litigation on me and lying on me, people, I can do something also. I can file and prove that she's done the same. So, people, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that because I'm tired. I'm tired of being lied on and abused by the system, and the system being used by women who can't hurt me physically, and can't hurt me socially or financially. So what they want to do is they use corruption and racism and discrimination within the family court of the criminal justice system to pursue me and get revenge on me. People, this is wrong. And the only reason it persists so long is because the family court and the police departments will not arrest these people who file false reports. They'll use the false reports to substantiate their numbers and effectuate arrest, but they will not turn around and arrest the false reporter because they know the truth. The truth is that if you arrest the false reporter, it's going to discourage other people from filing false reports. And then their arrest statistics are going to go down. And there's some people who are in law enforcement who are going to swear this is wrong, people. But people, it's the truth. I want to say that 70% of domestic violence violations that are filed are complete bullshit and lies. And the police know it. But the police effectuate the arrest because the arrest keeps the madness going. People, I don't choose to be part of this. My child's mother might have lied on me. She did. And she might have caused me to be in the family court of Brooklyn for another 6 months. But the one good thing she has done is she has definitively proved her abusive process. And people, again, I can't need her for a lawsuit, and she's listed as a defendant in the lawsuit. People, she's being sued. So how do I need her for the lawsuit if I've sued her also? People, I don't need her. I've sued her because she's a pathological liar who has abused process and falsified information against me for years. And people, I'm going to win. I'm going to win when I prove the parental alienation. People, I'm even going to win when I go to trial and I prove that she's a dirty prostitute who's been lying to the court and to me for years, people. I know I'm going to win. So this little bullshit here, all this is a cog to delay the inevitable. That's all. And I can see that. But the thing about it is that I realize, people, is how pathetic this woman truly is. Because to go do something like this just because the guy wants nothing to do with the child that you've been pushing him away from, people, it shows the true level of pathetic, just sheer patheticness from this woman. Because, see, what she intended to do was use my daughter against me as a tool. She was going to keep me fighting her in court because, people, as long as she can keep me in court, she's in control. What I did was take control back by trying to relinquish my parental rights. So, see, the one thing that you in the court are trying to use to keep me involved in this process, you can't use anymore because I don't give a fuck about seeing the child anymore. I don't care. And people, yeah, that might sound mean, but people, I care about my future. I'm not going to let this woman destroy my life for a child, but that she's trying to purposely keep me away from people, and I can prove it. So if I have to fight the Brooklyn Family Court, fine, in federal court, people, I'm all for it. Let's go. If I have to sue her racist, fat, nasty ass lawyer, I've done it already. Let's go. If I have to sue the dog faced lawyer of my child, and people, I'm intentionally insulting him for a reason because I can. Because the First Amendment protects my right to insult government officials or state officials who have violated my civil rights. If I say that the Packy judge is beautiful and I want to sleep with her, people, that's my personal perception of a woman I was attracted to. I called her Packy because Packy is a short term for Pakistani. It's not racist. But guess what, people? If this is what this judge wants to interpret, even though, again, people, in order to be held accountable under the New York State Family Court Act, under domestic violence law, or the domestic violence offense, it has to be someone you share an intimate relationship with. People, I share no intimate relationship with this judge. I wish I did, but I don't. So how can anything I say about her in private conversation outside the court constitute a violation of the New York State Family Court Act or a domestic violence offense? People, it doesn't. But guess what? These judges are allowed to bend the law to what they want. And because the family court is unregulated, because most people don't know how to sue them, guess what, people? They get away with it. Until they got to me. I'm going to cost this judge her bench because clearly she doesn't care about her bench. Clearly she doesn't care about the ethical standards and the judicial standards of a judge because if she did, she wouldn't be doing stuff like this. And people, I look forward to it. I know the only reason this order of protection went through is that the Brooklyn family court wasn't served with my lawsuit yet. But they will be this week. And then they'll see how big a mistake they actually made. People, you can't get frustrated when people violate your civil rights. I am super congested, people. What you have to do is you have to get calm and you have to use your enemy's mistakes against them. My child's mother is a fucking idiot, people. She's an uneducated drug addict and a prostitute, people. She thinks she's going to abuse process and use the family courts because they're going to help her get revenge on me. People, the only thing this girl is going to do is put me in a mansion because I can 100% prove she's been lying to the family court and that the family court knows she's been lying on me but has been violating and discriminating against me as a black male and as a single father in order to accentuate and to keep compounding the lying and false claims that have already been definitively disproven against me that were made by the mother. People, that's wrong. And they can keep doing this as long as they want to. People, I've become excellent at documenting. I buy transcripts. People, I'm going to prove this case and I'm going to get rich off this case while this bum ass bitch stays in the project with the mentally retarded daughter that she doesn't want to acknowledge is mentally retarded. See, people, in order to properly deal with autism, it takes two parents that are willing to do the work, or at least one parent, if the other parent is not there, that is willing to do the work. When one parent is willing to do all the work, but the other parent is a lazy, disgusting drug addict and prostitute who refuses to work with the child, who refuses to acknowledge the child's actual condition, people, that doesn't help the child. All that's going to do is have the child grow up to a point where the child is one of these big 13, 14-year-old drooling retards that we see on the ferry or in the subway of New York City. That's like, that's what it's going to be. People, I didn't want my daughter to be like that, people. So I was doing everything in my power to make sure my daughter's development, although it was behind, would catch up. People, I can prove it through emails with the school. I can prove it through recorded conversations with the school. I can prove it through the very text messages that you just saw me telling the mother we need to address this. People, there's no way that this woman's going to say that I haven't been working in the best interest of the child. People, I've spent over $6,000 on my child since I came back into her life December of last year. December, I believe it was 20th or something last year when I sent her Christmas gifts. People, I've been a great father. So I am not concerned with my bitter, broken, prostitute, drug addict ass daughter's mother who thinks she's going to abuse process and lie to the court system to get revenge on me. See, people, she can file this bullshit order of protection. I'm going to beat the order of protection. And I'm going to sign over all custody rights to her. And I'm going to prove to the family court and to child support, or to the commissioner of child support, excuse me, that she has intentionally alienated me from this child and therefore is entitled to no support from me. Because people, I'm tired of this. I got a life. I deserve to be free. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be with a woman who is a good woman, who is not a disgusting ass, low level online prostitute. People, I would never allow this woman to be anywhere with me in public. She is a complete embarrassment to not only herself, to her child, to her mother, to her existence, people. No way in hell would I ever allow this woman to publicly stand next to me. She is a complete embarrassment. I want nothing to do with her. And people, unfortunately, this is why men decide to abandon their children. Because the mother of the child is so disgusting of a person that the father realizes in order to have any type of life, he must stay away from that woman. And unfortunately, it also means staying away from that child. People, I have made that decision and I stick with that decision. I am comfortable in that decision and I support that decision in myself to abandon my infant daughter so I can save myself from her lying, pathetic, completely abusive mother. I am tired of it, people. I deserve to have a life. I do not deserve to be abused with process because I do not choose to be with a woman who is less than me. So yes, people, I have sued the Brooklyn family court, and people, clearly I'm going to be filing a supplemental complaint against them in the next couple of weeks. And I intend to rock that lawsuit out to the bitter end and sue them for millions of dollars. As far as this bullshit is concerned, people, that's just what it is. It's bullshit. It's completely false. I just went through all of the allegations. People, and out of 13 allegations, three of them could possibly be a family offense. Three out of 13. But that justified a complete no contact order of protection. People, she accuses me of allegedly slipping her a drink 10 years ago, people. That constitutes a no contact order of protection right now, people. Come on. And the family court of Brooklyn is not corrupt, people. That's why they're facing federal RICO charges, people. That's why they have numerous investigations by the Department of Justice, people. Because the Brooklyn family court is horribly corrupt. And people, unfortunately for me, God has empowered me with the energy, the determination to expose that corruption by whatever means it takes. So we're going on 112, people, on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock. This is a true victim of domestic violence, a victim of abusive process, a victim of just the sheer misconduct and corruption of the judicial system overall, people. And it's not just the family courts, it's the criminal court system too. The criminal court system and the family courts are designed to marginalize and subjugate black men, black women, and minorities. That is a fact. They need us part of this system to fuel the system, people, and I choose to fight the system. People can lie on me as much as they want, people, but they're going to have to prove it. And once this is disproven, all it does is back my federal civil suit up against the Brooklyn Family Court even more. So thank you very much today, Tamani Smith. Thank you for being the pathetic loser you are. Thank you for backing my claims that you have been abusing process and this judge discriminates against me. That's all you did. That's all you did in filing this order and it being granted. Is you proven to the lawsuit, to the federal courts, that this judge is discriminating against me and you're a lying piece of shit. So people, I'm not straight. God got me. That's one thing I know, people. I'm going to be quite all right. Yes, I do not have a daughter anymore. Well, I'll always have a daughter. She'll always be my daughter. But yes, I have chosen not to have any relationship with her because I choose to protect my freedom, my success, and my future against her lying, jealous, pathetic ass mother. People, I do not choose to live my life subjected to an ignorant prostitute, people. Absolutely not. On behalf of justice, ladies and gentlemen, in Operation Rock, the family's court system is corrupt, people, but the more we come together, we share our stories, and we expose the corruption of places like Brooklyn, the more we put their actions before the media, before the judicial system, before the federal courts, and maybe some serious reform will finally come to such a broken, corrupt system. Because the biggest drain on any local municipality's economy is the family court system. It's a complete farce, people. They do not work for the best interest of the child. They work for the least interest of the father and the opposing party for the person who filed the order. The family court purposely violates procedural due process every day it's in operation, people. And the longer you sit back and stay ignorant of procedural due process and statutory law, the longer they get away with it. People continue to follow Operation Rock. Learn your rights. Learn what you can do when you face corruption and discrimination in the court. Learn what you can do when you face a partner who continues to use abusive or vexatious litigation against you to lie on you and keep you before prosecutors or before family court judges. People, it's all litigation abuse. It's all vexatious litigation. And your job is to document it, prove it, and beat the system at its own game. Because that's the only way we're going to fix the wheel, people. We fix the wheel by fixing the problem, by fixing the cog that spins the wheel. And the cog that spins the wheel is the statutes and the regulations that control us. This needs to stop, people. And that's my mission. So, on behalf of justice and on behalf of exposing lying, disgusting turds like my child's mother, people, this was Clayton, exposing the corruption of the Brooklyn Family Court and how they grant orders of protection when domestic violence offenses are not even alleged on the application, people. These judges do what they want to do. We have to do what we must do to expose